कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि.
What is your belief of God?
What if I don't have one?
What is your belief of God?
I said, what if I don't have a belief?
We should… if you do a mistake, what you will do?
I'll correct it.
If you can't… if you are unable to correct… if you are unable to correct…
I know some things can't be fixed. I've learned that much with this much age. There are certain things I can't fix sometimes.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. You said intelligent people do what they like and genius people do just what is necessary. But it's not always clear just what is necessary. So how does one know, or is enlightenment a prerequisite for knowing? If that is the case, so how do we get out of the catch-22 situation that one is in? Thank you.
Have you read Catch-22? Seen the movie at least? No? Oh, you're another generation. In our generation, there was literally nobody who did not read Catch-22. So, anyway, let me not go into that. That's a piece of literature that you must read, because in any situation, if you allow yourself, you can be confused in any situation. In any situation, if you're willing, you can bring some clarity. That clarity may not be absolute, but at least in a limited way you can bring clarity, work through that and then see what is the next level to work upon. So, about intelligence doing what they like, I meant, see, if you're doing even what you don't like, this is a very unintelligent way of existence, isn't it? Because right now if you sit here and doing something that you don't like, inevitably you're going to suffer every moment of your life. Is there anything more unintelligent that you have decided that every moment of your life should be misery? So if you have some working intelligence, then you make sure you do the things that you like. But if your intelligence flowers beyond likes and dislikes, I'm saying this, should I go into it technically? Why… how it can happen? I thought you were not engineers, you're only managers. You've been through engineering? Oh, okay. See, there are four… in English language, when we say mind, it's just one thing. In yoga, we look at human intelligence as 16 parts. These 16 parts we can categorize as 4 segments. These 4 segments are buddhi, ahankara, manas and chitta. Buddhi means your intellect. I'm going to ask you one question, all of you must say yes or no, I'm going to bless you with that. Would you like your buddhi or your intellect to be sharp or blunt? Okay. So it is essentially a cutting instrument. If you have a sharp intellect, you can dissect everything that you see and kind of figure out what it is about. Dissection is one way of learning about things. If you give this flower to a scientist, first thing is he will open it up and he will understand the structure of the flower and various aspects of the flower, but one thing is, he will miss the flower completely. But with dissection, we have understood and learned many things. So if I really want to know you, I should dissect you. You're not willing? Even the frog that you dissected in high school, it was not willing, but you still dissected. Because you thought it's a great education, but the frog did not think so. So dissection is one way of learning. Your intellect, as you said, you want it sharp because it's a scalpel that can cut through things and show you, reveal certain things to you. But if you want to put things together, you need to sew something. Suppose you want to stitch something and you still use a knife. Now you leave everything in tatters. This is the main struggle of modern societies because they're employing their intellect to handle everything in their life. If you employ just your intellect to handle everything, you will see every aspect of your life will become a mess. Because intellect is a specific tool to be used for a certain purpose. There was a time, when I was crisscrossing India on my motorcycle, just some fortune, because of this rally for rivers, once again I am on the motorcycle in some of the cities, not in Chennai, because it's a very serious place. So when I was crisscrossing on the motorcycle, I never trusted any mechanic, I always fixed my own engine, my own things, because you're on the road and you want a reliable machine. But sometimes, if you stopped in a local mechanic somewhere, there were some… these days things have changed. There were some mechanic shops, he's actually running a professional place. All he's got is a chisel and a hammer. These are only two tools he has. With this he opens everything and fixes everything. Only thing is afterwards nobody else can open it or close it, because he used his chisel and hammer on everything. So, this is like that right now. Our modern education systems have become such that intellect is the only dimension of intelligence that we are employing. With this, you can cut everything, but you can't put things together. You will not know life at all. It looks like you know about it, but you cannot know it. You will not experience the beauty of being alive if you intellectually analyze everything. You will see the parts of it. You can cut it into a million parts and you can cut this flower into a million parts and know many things that a butterfly does not know. But you do not know the joy of sitting on the flower like a butterfly, or seeing the butterfly, this flower, or smelling the flower, or experiencing the flower as a piece of life. That will not be there because intellect is essentially a cutting instrument. Behind this is what is called as ahankara, which usually, unfortunately, people think is ego. It's not ego, it's your identity. Your identity is your limitation. Your identity decides how your intellect functions. Right now, let us say you identify yourself strongly, I am a man. Now the way you think is always about your masculinity. Now you say, I am a woman. Now your intellect functions only to protect that identity. Or you say, I'm an Indian or a Pakistani or I'm this or that. 1,000 different identities of caste, creed, this, that, rich, poor, all kinds. Whatever you identify with, your intellect will only serve that identity. You won't even know what you're doing. You think you're doing the right thing. Everybody thinks you're a fool, but you think you're the right thing because your identity makes your intellect function that way. So in this culture, we evolved a thing that before we give education to a child, first thing is, we must bring a universal identity. Aham Brahmasmi, we taught them. This means a cosmic identity, because before empowering somebody with education and knowledge, they must have as large an identity as possible, because small identities are the basis of all evil and all crime. See, I want you to understand this. If suppose, I'll take the worst example because I'm always known to take these risks. Let's take the worst example, Adolf Hitler. Suppose Adolf Hitler, instead of having a limited identity, had a global identity. What a fantastic leader he would have been. Yes or no? No, you don't want to say yes because you're scared. I want you to look at this. It is the limited identity which is making that man do such horrendous things. Every crime, every tyrant, every nonsense that we have done on this planet is a consequence of limited identity, isn't it? I am Indian, you're Pakistani, that's why even if I don't know you, I can kill you. I don't know a thing about you. but I want you dead for some reason, because my identity is like this. So it is this identity, different levels of identity, that the more limited our identity, more tyrannical our actions are. Man, as efficient as Adolf Hitler, if he had an identity with the whole humanity, what a great leader we would have had. But his identity is limited, and see what horrendous thing his efficiency did. Yes or no? I wish we had leaders who had that level of efficiency, but with a larger identity. It's a very risky thing to say, but I'm saying this because we must understand what you think is evil is seeping out of your limited identification. All that's evil, all that's crime on this planet is a consequence of limited identification, that's all it is. So this identity has not been worked at all in this so-called modern societies. In ancient societies in this country, we always worked on the identity of the person first before we empowered them with education. A cosmic identity you must have, so that your intellect does not work against somebody. Your intelligence should not become a detrimental factor in the world. That's important, isn't it? Right now you just see the highest level of science and technology, what is it used for? The first use is always military use, isn't it? Why? Because of limited identity. So before empowering a child with education and knowledge, first thing is we must fix his ahankara. What kind of ahankara he has, which we have not done, for which we are paying a price. As humanity gets more and more empowered with technology, you will see more and more pain will create to each other, because limited identification. The next dimension of intelligence is referred to as manas. Manas means it is a silo of memory. This is what we were talking some time ago. 8 forms of memory are there in this, I will not go into it once again. But your intellect is absolutely useless if it is not connected to the memory. If I wipe out your memory, even if you have a very sharp intellect, there is nothing you can do, isn't it? It's only empowered by this memory, and the type of identity that you have will connect you to the memory in a particular way. If your identity is universal, it will connect you to the memory in one way. If your identity is limited, it will connect you to the memory in a completely different way. The same memory will function in a completely different way and find action in a totally different dimension, simply because identity is different. These are 3 dimensions of intelligence which normally function for most people. The 4th dimension of intelligence is referred to as chitta. Chitta means it's a dimension of intelligence which is not unsullied by memory. There is no iota of memory in this, it's pure intelligence. If you touch this dimension of intelligence in the yogic culture, very mischievously it is said like this: if you touch your chitta, God will become your slave. Everything works for you. You can play with life, but life will work for you, the source of life will work for you, because you have touched a dimension of intelligence which is beyond memory. Why is it important? Is your individuality comes only because of your limited memory. So in yogic culture, we have always been taught to identify with our ignorance, never with our knowledge. If you… whatever amount of knowledge you have gathered, it is very limited compared to this cosmic space, isn't it? What is there in this creation, it doesn't matter what kind of a manager you are, what kind of an engineer you are, what you know is very minuscule. But your ignorance is boundless. If you identify with your ignorance, you will never go against anybody. If you identify with your knowledge, if I have a different kind of knowledge, you will be naturally against me. But you are identified with your ignorance, you are never against anybody, and it's a boundless space. Is your ignorance limited? Hello? It's limitless, isn't it? But is your knowledge limited? Doesn't matter if you read all the libraries on the planet, you are still a very limited knowledge. So, the way we are employing human intelligence is, if there were 4 wheels in a car, you drive only on 1 wheel. This is going to be very stressful, and nobody can be with you. This is why more intellectual you get, the more you can't get along with anybody. It's happening. And the more intellectual you get, not intelligent, the more intellectual you get, the longer your face becomes. You can't smile. Smile is a big effort. I was speaking to a group of people at the Princeton University. There were 250 people, and they were all… only 3-4 lively faces were there. Then I looked at them and said, what's happened to all of you? All these people over 30 years of age, why are they carrying such long faces? One lady stood up and said, they're all married. I thought people are getting married to multiply their joy. If they're getting married to multiply their misery, there has to be a law against it. Then I have to rally for… Please. Yes, some of the girls never got a chance, please.
Sadhguru, you told about clarity. If you go from the literature of self-help, everyone talks about self-belief. But in a small amount of time, after some period, that self-belief turns to ignorance. So how did we develop conscious self-belief through any process?
Okay. That question is a little tricky. You said self-belief leads to ignorance, but then you're asking again how to develop self-belief.
Consciously, because if self-belief is on a longer period without consciousness, it converts to ignorance because we feel blind and…
Are you for real? Are you real?
Sorry?
Are you real, I'm asking?
Subjective, sir, yes.
Oh. I'm asking, do you exist?
Yes.
Yes, no doubt about it. Only problem is you do not know the nature of your existence. If you had doubt about your existence itself, that is a different level of problem. Okay, that's a different thing. But now you know that you exist, only thing is you do not know the nature of your existence. Please sit down. And for a long time, people have been saying, I believe in God. But from there we have descended to a place, I believe in myself. Believing in anything is bad enough. Believing in yourself is a total disaster. Because you must understand the word belief. It's all connected to this courage, confidence stuff. See, how many of you believe that you have two hands? All such people just raise one hand, please. One will do. Okay. Do you believe that you have two hands or do you know that you have two hands? You know that you have two hands, isn't it? Suppose somebody starts an overwhelming argument with you that you have no hands, and if their argument becomes too overwhelming, one slap in the face, he knows you got hands. But you believe in God, you believe in something else, so many other things you believe. Why? Because you're still not straight enough to admit what I do not know as I do not know. I do not know is a tremendous possibility. Only when you see I do not know, the possibility of knowing and the seeking towards that knowing and the pursuit of wanting to know will begin to happen within you, and the possibility of knowing can become realized one day if your pursuit is right. But everything that you do not know, you believe. You can call this belief or you can just call it bullshit, okay? Because you're making up things. People do not know what the hell is happening within themselves or around themselves, but they know the entire geography of heaven. I don't understand, if they know the place so well and it's so fantastic, why they're not gone? Yes? See, they're always talking about a fantastic place elsewhere. They must be gone, why are they waiting here? No, because when it comes to real things, they know it's all bullshit. But on a daily basis, they carry it on. Can you, all of you young people, can you come to this level of sincerity? What I know, I know. What I do not know, I do not know. Can you do this to yourself? If you can't be straight with anybody else, at least with this one person, be absolutely straight. Believe me, life pays off in a huge way. Life will pay you in a very huge way because you're simply absolutely straight with yourself. About what kind of professions you will take, I don't know how many things you have to do with other people, I will leave that to you. But at least with this one person, you must be absolutely straight. If this one thing you do, you will see life will give you dividends that other people have not dreamt of. Most people do not know what is integrity. They're innocent of integrity because they go on doing this all the time. What they know, what they do not know, they believe. Why don't you see what I know, I know, what I do not know, I do not know? Is this okay? Hello? Hello? Now not only believing what is up there, now what is inside, you better know what is inside. Why do you believe this? What is this thing about I believe in myself? This is very American stuff. I believe in myself. Why should you believe in yourself? You should know yourself, isn't it? Hello?
मैं